what is the self? I think everyone has a kind of intuitive understanding of what it means to have a unique, individual, embodied experience. Even as children, we're able to distinguish between my toys and my objects and the attention that we want from our parents, that we want directed to me, to the center of our experience. But the symbolic interactionist perspective develops a somewhat more developed concept of the self, but drawing from these kinds of ideas. So, according to Cooley, his concept of the looking glass self refers to the way in which individuals conceive of or imagine the impressions that others have of them, including whatever judgments that they feel others believe about them, and the internalization of this that informs the conception of the self. So, Mead additionally discusses the self, particularly in the way that he discusses the development of the self from infant to adult. So, beginning with the infant, he discusses how there's this gradual process in which the infant develops the ability to take the role of the other person. So to imagine himself or herself in the position of another person, imagining their behavior, their motivations, their experience. So children often take the role of the parent in the sense that they can cry or they can do something to draw the attention to themselves by imagining their response, and then as time goes on they develop the ability to take the role of siblings or friends or their parents or imaginary friends or imaginary characters which they try to embody and practice, as the case of children who play doctors and nurses and police officers and any number of other imaginary characters. So as this develops, the complexity of this ability to take the role of another person intensifies and develops in the sense that children begin to learn how to take the role of entire groups and how to align their behavior with multiple expectations. As the important example that Mead raises is the idea of sports. How that we can imagine how to align our behavior with multiple players on a team so that we can perform our role, our individual role, the self expectations of that role in alignment with others' expectation. So as this develops, the final stage that Mead discusses is the development of the generalized other. So this is the ability of the individual to imagine the expectations of society as a whole, or at least the cultural context in which one finds oneself, and align our behavior and our conception of ourself based upon the perceived expectations of a broader social context. Regarding the self, Mead also discusses this dichotomous self in the sense that he discusses the I and the me, which is the I would be the creative or autonomous, agentic component of the self, and then the me would be the part of the self that integrates the expectations of the generalized other, and that expectation sort of shapes and guides and controls the individualistic component of the I. So I hope that gives a little bit of clarification on the interactionist approach to the self.